So I'm here with Joe Churchill from Fan Club, new company that you've just set up 6 months ago, wasn't it, Joe?
Just under. I think we're in like month 4, just the beginning of month 4. So we're still kind of fresh out the gate, I would say.
Yeah, and STV, they invested in the business. Tell us a little bit about what the purpose of your business is, and what specifically you're going to be offering the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fan Club is a digital agency, and our mission is to turn brands into broadcasters. It's a snappy tagline, but it could mean lots of different things. But essentially what we do is we take the traditional brand partnerships model where brands would go to media owners and effectively kind of rent their audiences and reach their audiences through content. We do that whole end-to-end service, but we're a kind of plug-in media partner to the brands. So we create the content, craft their channel identity, produce all of the content, and then we distribute it on their owned and operated channels. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then we work with them to manage those channels, grow the community, grow the audience. And I think the difference between us and a traditional partnership, even though it operates in much the same way, is that they get something of lasting value at the end of it. So we'll give them all of those key metrics that they would get with a brand partner, but we also guarantee them an audience which they own after that. So they can, there's lots of kind of value and ROI that they can get from owning that audience rather than renting.
Okay, so if we look at a great example of that, I mean, Footasylum, I suppose, is one of the brands that's really sort of leaned heavily into creating their own channels and their own formats and their own content as a way to engage their audience, have a direct relationship with the audience, and then off the back of that, it's all about app downloads for them and lifetime value of customers. So it seems to be very smart way of building your brand and having a direct relationship with that consumer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, Footasylum blazed the trail on this, like absolutely. And then you've also got JD Sports, Pretty Little Thing, Boohoo Man, all kind of playing in that space and creating their own content for their own audience. That's very much in one kind of niche of content. It's youth focused, it's Gen Z, it's creator led entertainment formats, which is one way to go, and it's fantastic to see what they're doing. But what we do is much broader than that. So we've certainly reached a critical mass now where everyone is online. The fastest growing demographic on YouTube is the over 50s. My mum is on Instagram. So whoever the brand is, whoever their target audience is, you can reach them really effectively on these platforms. And it's interesting to see people like Marks and Spencer's have just launched their own YouTube series called Love That. And that's been really successful for them. You can see the comments popping off, and that is, a much more kind of a broad, grown-up brand, and the briefs that we've been getting, the brands we've been talking to, it's a really diverse array who want to speak to very different audiences in very different ways, and that's what is really exciting for me about this space, is to broaden it out from that kind of youth culture to take it in lots of different directions.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting because obviously the brands that you mentioned, they're all of a similar. Obviously, as you say, demographic. They're looking but they're all, clothing brands or footwear brands, etc. So you mentioned Marks and Spencer's. I mean, what other sectors do you think outside of like supermarkets and clothing brands do you think that are really ripe for creating their own channels?
Yeah. So there's a few kind of key perennial sectors that I think keep coming up. So like DIY and kind of home interiors, those kind of big brands, that's a really good space to play. And we were talking to a lot of those people when I was at Channel 4. Certainly kind of tech brands and electronics brands as well. I think they are looking to play in this space, and they're a big kind of target for us. And also automotive. Automotive is very kind of stuck in a particular form of advertising a lot of the time, which is very premium, very expensive, not really designed to connect with an audience, but just showcase the car. But cars are literally vehicles for brilliant content. Like they're very useful to kind of integrate into a content series. So that would be a good one we would love to be working in. And then travel. I think travel as well is a perennial, and that can be everything from tourist boards to kind of EasyJet style airlines to like package holiday brands. That's something that is geared towards fantastic content. And you've seen, brands like Jet2 just going viral with their theme tune last year just shows that, there's something about everyone loves traveling, right? So for an audience, like, they're brands that inspire a bit of joy in us already.
Yeah, and obviously the way that people use YouTube as a search engine, obviously, to how-to content, etc. It sort of suits itself very well to, like you said, DIY brands or other brands like that, because that's the beauty of YouTube, as opposed to it just being a broadcaster, if you like. It's also the search engine, and it's also that community around content that separates it from many of the other social platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is what we always say to brands is, like, start niche, find your niche, speak to that niche and build your core community there. And then once you've nailed that, you can grow and broaden out in lots of different directions. That's what, I think a lot of the most successful creators have done, a lot of the most successful channels, things like Supercar Blondie, starting with one super simple thing, and then you can grow and you can go in all sorts of different directions.
Yeah. Now, you were at Channel 4. What did you learn at Channel 4 then, do you think, that you're applying to Fan Club? What are the key learnings you took from your time there, and obviously applying it now to your new business?
Yeah, I mean, I learned, so I come from a kind of TV production and development background. I was running a production company before I joined Channel 4. I think that was my first kind of immersion in the world of media agencies, of kind of sales teams, of like real kind of deep brand strategy and platform strategy. So, I mean, I was a sponge for like 4 years there, just like really absorbing all of this information, working with genuinely some of the best people in the industry who have been, at the cutting edge of digital publishing. And what our mission always was there was to bring that broadcast quality, the kind of craft and the storytelling, and also the rigor and the kind of checks and balances of compliance that comes with a big service public service broadcaster, but combine that with the reach of social and the expertise in optimizing for those platforms that enable you to really successfully land content that doesn't just, it's not just about the views. It's not just about hooking people in with clickbait at the start. It's about grabbing their attention, but it's also keeping their attention. And we saw very high retention rates across all of our content in branded ents. And so, yeah, I learned a huge amount from that, and that's definitely something that I'm bringing through to Fan Club. Like, we've been very clear from the start that. Whilst, in some senses we're kind of unshackled from, the self-governance that comes with a big organisation like Channel 4, we're absolutely going to be retaining those editorial standards and making content that is exceptional, that has high standards of duty of care, that has that kind of trust and credibility. But we're a little bit more freer in how we operate with the platforms and how we lean into the different kind of functionalities on each of the platforms to really drive kind of awareness, sentiment, and recall for brands. So, we can be a little bit more on the nose with the brand integration, but I think we can do that in a way that doesn't disrupt the show for the audience. And I think audiences are very savvy now. Like, they're very used to branded entertainment, and they don't mind if the content comes from a creator, from a brand, from a broadcaster. So if it is from a brand, acknowledge that straight away. And as long as you're then showing them something that's entertaining or useful or educational, they'll still stick around.
And who is it that you're predominantly dealing with when it comes to brands? Are you speaking to brands direct, or are you speaking to media agencies or PR agencies or advertising agencies? Who are the key decision makers? Because presumably, there's a huge amount of disruption going on in the advertising industry, and brands are starting more and more to build their own internal agencies and actually take back that control a little bit. Are you seeing your conversation to direct to brands more than ever?
It's a real kind of mixed ecosystem, actually. So we've got really good relationships with the media agencies, and they were our kind of main customers when we were at Channel 4. And so we're working a lot with media agencies, trying to help them identify the brands who are ready for this kind of evolution of their branded entertainment. But we're also talking direct to brand as well. And I would say both of those approaches can really work and really bear fruit. Media agencies, are brilliant at kind of educating their clients and taking them on that journey, so that when you engage with them, they already kind of know what they're getting into. And whilst, going brand direct can sometimes be a bit kind of quicker and cleaner, often there's a bit more of an education piece that you need to do because they're jumping into something that they might not be that familiar with. We're doing both of those, and we're a startup. We're in very early stages, so really we're out there just talking to everybody at this stage.
Well, you're also going to be a partner for the Digital Content Forum, of course, which is coming up on 6th of November. Tell us a little bit about what delegates can expect from your session.
Yeah, so we're going to do a hot take session, slightly inspired by Subway takes, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. We want to get people talking and get a little bit of debate in the room. So we're bringing down some brands and someone from an agency, and we're going to go through some hot takes on what the future of branded entertainment might look like. Going to throw some quite provocative ones out there, and then we're going to see who agrees and who disagrees with these hot takes, and use those as kind of launch pads for discussion. We're hoping to make it a bit interactive as well, so we'll hopefully get the audience playing along and find out what percentage of the room agrees with some of these spiky things that we're chucking out.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I think very valuable. That's what we're always trying to do in the Digital Content Forum. It's about insights and learning. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Joe, thank you so much for joining me on our TellyCast MIPCOM special. Great to see you.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me.
See you on the 6th of November, and enjoy the rest of MIPCOM in Cannes.
Thank you. We'll see you for a glass of rosé before that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Cheers.